Your fitness tracker knows everything about you. Your heart rate, your sleep patterns, how many steps you take each day. It monitors your body 24/7, building a complete picture of your health. But what if it showed you something that hasn't happened yet? What if your Fitbit recorded the exact moment of your death, 3 days before it happens? This is my true personal experience, shared for entertainment and discussion purposes. I'm going to tell you about the data my fitness tracker collected in May 2024, and why I can never look at wearable technology the same way again. If you wear a smartwatch or fitness tracker, this story will make you check your health data tonight. Keep watching. My name is Jordan. I'm 34 years old and I've been a marathon runner for the past 6 years. I'm not just casual about fitness, I'm obsessed. I track everything. Every run, every workout, every heartbeat. I've worn a Fitbit continuously for 4 years. I mean continuously, I only take it off to shower. I even wear it to sleep because I'm fascinated by my sleep cycles and REM patterns. My resting heart rate is 52 beats per minute. My average daily steps are around 15,000. I know my body's data better than most people know their phone numbers. In May 2024, I was training for the Chicago Marathon in October. My training schedule was intense but manageable. Morning runs, strength training, proper nutrition. Everything was going perfectly. My Fitbit data showed steady improvement. Lower resting heart rate, better sleep quality, increased VO2 max. I was in the best shape of my life. May 15th was a Wednesday. I woke up at 6 a.m. like always, checked my Fitbit app like I do every morning. I love seeing my overnight stats, how much deep sleep I got, what my lowest heart rate was, whether I hit my sleep goal. But that morning something was wrong with the app. It was showing data from dates that hadn't happened yet. Not just today, May 15th, but May 16th, 17th, and 18th. 3 days in the future. At first, I thought it was a glitch. Maybe the app's date was wrong. Maybe my phone's clock was off. But my phone showed the correct date. My laptop showed the correct date. It was definitely May 15th. But my Fitbit app was showing completed data for May 18th. And that data was terrifying. I stared at my phone screen trying to make sense of what I was seeing. The app showed a complete 24-hour cycle for May 18th. Full sleep data, heart rate throughout the day, step count, everything. Like I'd already lived that day. The data looked normal at first. Sleep from 11 p.m. on May 17th. Heart rate steady at around 52 BPM during sleep. Then around 3 a.m., my heart rate started climbing. 60 BPM. Then 70. Then 90. At 3:47 a.m. on May 18th, according to the data, my heart rate spiked to 180 BPM. Then it became irregular. The graph showed erratic peaks and valleys. And then, at 3:47 a.m. exactly, it flatlined. 0 beats per minute. The graph showed my heart stopping. And the duration field said ongoing, like my heart was still stopped. Like I was still dead. I sat there on my bed, staring at this impossible data. My hands were shaking. This had to be a glitch. Apps malfunction all the time. Fitness trackers aren't perfect. This was just corrupted data or a software bug. But something about seeing that flatline graph made my stomach drop. It looked so real. So precise. The exact time, 3:47 a.m. The exact pattern of my heart rate climbing before the crisis. The irregular rhythm right before the flatline. I took a screenshot. Then I closed the app and reopened it. The data was still there. May 18th, heart rate 0, ongoing. I checked the date again. Today was May 15th. According to my Fitbit, I had 3 days to live. I tried to laugh it off. I texted my running buddy, "My Fitbit says I'm going to die on Saturday, lol." He texted back, "Delete that app bro, it's cursed." But I couldn't delete it. I had 4 years of data in there. All my progress, all my achievements. And I needed to understand what was happening. I went for my scheduled run that morning. 6 miles, easy pace. My Fitbit recorded it normally, real-time heart rate, GPS tracking, everything working perfectly. When I checked the app after my run, the May 18th death data was still there, unchanged. May 16th, Thursday. The death data was still there. 2 days away now. I decided to see a doctor. I called my GP's office and said I needed an emergency appointment. I think something's wrong with my heart. The doctor saw me that afternoon. I explained everything except the Fitbit prediction. I just said I'd been having irregular heartbeats. She ran an EKG. Perfectly normal. She checked my blood pressure. Perfect. She listened to my heart. Strong and steady. "Jordan, your heart is in excellent condition," she said. "You're an athlete. Your cardiovascular system is probably healthier than mine. What made you think something was wrong?" I couldn't tell her about the Fitbit data. She'd think I was crazy. So I said I'd just been feeling anxious. She prescribed some tests to be done the following week, just to be thorough, but she wasn't concerned. I left the doctor's office feeling both relieved and unsettled. My heart was fine. The Fitbit data had to be wrong. But it was still there in my app, showing my death in less than 48 hours. May 17th, Friday. 1 day away. I woke up and immediately checked my Fitbit app. The death data had changed. Now it showed May 18th, 3:47 a.m. as the flatline moment, but it also showed May 17th data leading up to it. And that data showed me going to sleep at 11 p.m. with a normal heart rate. This was getting more specific, more detailed. Like the prediction was refining itself as the moment approached. I told my partner, Alex, everything. I showed them the screenshots. They looked at the data and went pale. "This is impossible," Alex said. "Fitbits can't predict the future." "I know, but look at it. That's my heart rate pattern. That's my typical sleep schedule. Everything matches my normal data except for the part where I die." "You're not going to die," Alex said firmly. "This is just a glitch. Delete the app. Throw away the Fitbit. This is making you crazy." But I couldn't. What if it was real? What if my Fitbit had somehow detected something, a pattern, an anomaly, something my doctor's equipment missed? What if my body knew something was wrong and the Fitbit was picking up on it? That night, May 17th, I decided I wasn't going to sleep. If the data showed my heart stopping at 3:47 a.m. while I was asleep, then I'd just stay awake. Simple. Can't die in your sleep if you don't sleep. Alex tried to convince me to rest. "You're going to make yourself sick. You need sleep." I need to not die more than I need sleep. I stayed awake. I made coffee. I watched TV. I did some work on my laptop. Alex eventually fell asleep around midnight, frustrated with me but too tired to argue anymore. I sat in our living room watching the clock. 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Every few minutes I checked my pulse. Strong and steady. My Fitbit showed my heart rate elevated, around 80 BPM because of the caffeine and anxiety, but not dangerous. 3:30 a.m. I was exhausted but determined. 15 more minutes until the predicted death time. 15 minutes and then I could prove this was all nonsense. 3:45 a.m. My heart was racing now, but from anxiety, not from any medical issue. I could feel it pounding in my chest. I checked my Fitbit. 120 BPM. High but explainable. I was terrified. 3:47 a.m. I held my breath. My hands gripped the arms of the chair. My Fitbit showed 125 BPM. And then, nothing happened. I was fine. I was alive. My heart kept beating. I waited 5 more minutes. Still alive. Still fine. I laughed, a weird, relieved, slightly hysterical laugh. I'd done it. I'd stayed awake and I was fine. I opened my Fitbit app, ready to see the death prediction gone. But instead, the data had changed again. Now it showed my death at 3:47 a.m. on May 25th. 1 week later. The date had moved forward. My relief evaporated. It hadn't been wrong. It had just been delayed. Over the next week, I became obsessed with that data. Every time the predicted death moment approached, I'd stay awake or do something to prevent sleep at that exact time. And every time, the date would move forward by another week. May 25th, stayed awake. Date moved to June 1st. June 1st, stayed awake. Date moved to June 8th. June 8th, I couldn't keep doing this. I was exhausted. I hadn't had a full night's sleep in 3 weeks. I was irritable, unfocused, my running performance was terrible. Alex was worried I was having a breakdown. "You can't stay awake forever," Alex said. "Whatever this is, you need to deal with it differently." They were right. I couldn't keep avoiding sleep at 3:47 a.m. for the rest of my life. I needed a different approach. On June 8th, instead of staying awake, I checked into a hospital emergency room at 2 a.m. I told them I had a heart condition and needed to be monitored overnight. I showed them my Fitbit data, not the death prediction, just my overall health metrics, and said I'd been having concerning symptoms. They were skeptical but agreed to keep me for observation. They hooked me up to a real heart monitor, professional medical equipment that would catch anything my Fitbit could catch, and more. I lay in that hospital bed watching the clock. 3 a.m., 3:30 a.m., 3:45 a.m. The nurses checked on me every 15 minutes. Everything was normal. 3:47 a.m. On the medical heart monitor there was a blip. Just a small irregularity. The alarm didn't even sound. But a nurse noticed it. She said, leaning closer to the monitor. That's interesting. What is it? You had a PVC. A premature ventricular contraction. It's when your heart has an extra beat or an early beat. See? She pointed to the monitor. Not dangerous on its own, but we should tell the doctor. A cardiologist came in an hour later. He reviewed the data from the night. You had several PVCs throughout the night. Most people have them occasionally and never notice. But in someone your age with your fitness level, we should investigate further. They ran more tests. An echocardiogram, a stress test, more blood work, and they found something. A very small structural abnormality in my heart. Not immediately life-threatening, but something that could cause problems under certain conditions. If this had gone undetected, the cardiologist said, and you'd experienced a significant stress event, severe dehydration during a marathon for example, or a major electrolyte imbalance, this could have caused a dangerous arrhythmia. Potentially fatal. He prescribed medication. He adjusted my training plan. He said I'd need to be monitored regularly, but with proper management I'd be fine. I left the hospital that morning and immediately checked my Fitbit app. The death prediction was gone. The May 18th data that had shown my heart stopping, it had disappeared. Now the app just showed a normal alert. Irregular heart rhythm detected June 8th, 3:47 a.m. Consult a physician. A standard Fitbit health alert. Nothing about death. Nothing about the future. Just a normal notification that something unusual had been detected. Had it always been just a standard alert and my anxiety had made me see something more? Or had the Fitbit actually predicted a fatal heart event, and by seeking medical attention I changed the outcome? I showed Alex the app. The death prediction is gone. Thank God, Alex said. Can we please throw away that Fitbit now? But I didn't throw it away. I still wear it. Because whether it was predicting the future or just detecting a pattern I couldn't consciously perceive, my Fitbit saved my life. The cardiologist told me that the structural abnormality I have is something that often goes undetected until it causes a major cardiac event. You're lucky, he said. Most people with this condition don't find out until they collapse during exercise. You found out in time. But was it luck? Or was it the Fitbit? I've thought about this constantly for the past 3 months. Here are the possibilities. 1. The Fitbit sensors detected the abnormality in my heart rhythm, the PVCs that were happening even before I knew about them. Its algorithm predicted that these irregularities would eventually lead to a cardiac event. It was showing me a probable future based on current data. 2. By constantly checking the death prediction and obsessing over it, I raised my anxiety levels, which increased my heart rate, which made my condition worse. I created a self-fulfilling prophecy. And by finally breaking the cycle and seeking proper medical care, I prevented the prediction from coming true. 3. Quantum mechanics. The observer effect. By seeing the data about my own death, I collapsed a timeline where I died and shifted to a timeline where I lived. The Fitbit showed me one possible future, and by observing it, I changed it. I don't know which explanation is true. Maybe none of them. Maybe all of them. What I do know is that I'm alive. I'm on medication. I'm being monitored. And I still check my Fitbit data every single day. Not obsessively anymore, but carefully. Because if it warned me once, maybe it could warn me again. That's my story. That's why I still wear my Fitbit even though part of me is terrified of what it might show me next time. Fitness trackers collect more data about us than we realize. Heart rate variability, sleep patterns, oxygen levels. They're building incredibly detailed pictures of our health. And their algorithms are getting smarter. Maybe smart enough to see patterns we can't. Maybe smart enough to predict outcomes before they happen. I don't know if my Fitbit predicted my death or if I was just lucky to catch a heart condition early. But I do know this: technology sees things we miss. Our devices know our bodies sometimes better than we do. And maybe, just maybe, they can see our futures. If you wear a fitness tracker, check your data. Really look at it. Those numbers might be trying to tell you something important. They certainly told me. Thank you for listening. If you found this story compelling, please like this video and subscribe. I share true paranormal and unexplained experiences every week. And if your smartwatch ever shows you something impossible, don't ignore it. It might just save your life. Stay safe out there. And trust your technology, even when it shows you things you don't want to see.